Let's now implement a function that takes in a string and counts and prints the number of digits, the number of lowercase and number of uppercase characters in it. We know that a character is a digit if the character is greater than or equal to digit 0 and it's less than or equal to digit 9. Similarly, a character is lowercase if it is greater than or equal to lowercase a and less than or equal to lowercase z, and it is an uppercase character if it is greater than or equal to uppercase a and it's less than or equal to uppercase z. There are actually helper functions for these defined in CC type. The first one for the to test whether a character is a digit, you use isDigit and pass character in. For to test whether a character is a lowercase, you use isLower. And to test if a character is an uppercase character, you use isUpper. All right, so let's look at an example. This is count characters, character types 1. This is taking a string. I'm passing a reference because I don't need to make a new copy of the string. I'm basically using the formula that we just laid out in the previous slide. If the character is a digit, increment the number of digits. If it is a lowercase character, it's a increment the number of lower, and otherwise increment the number of upper characters. And here is the same function that it's an example count characters character types 2 function. This time I am using the helper functions from CC type. So I'm using if it is a digit, is lower, and is upper. There are also other helper functions in CC type. For example, if you want to test if a character is an alphabetic character, meaning it's a lowercase or an uppercase character, you use isAlpha. If you want to test whether it's alphabetic and numeric, then you use isAlpha-numeric. You could test if it is a punctuation character, if it is space. If it is a space character, remember there are multiple space characters. For example, the regular space character is a space character, tab is a space character, new line and carriage return are also considered to be space characters. So you could use isSpace to test that. And if it is a control character, there are a lot of other helper functions in CC type, and I advise you to look into them. So this is example 9. So let me execute that. So this is example 9. As you can see, I have two functions that are doing exactly the same thing. In the first one, I am implementing my own isDigit, isLower, isUpper functionality using an if statement and using logical operators. In the second one, I am basically using isDigit, isLower, and isUpper from CC type, and I included CC type at the top of my program. And the string that I'm passing is this, lowercase, uppercase, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let me just run the code so that you can see what the output is. And it says, this is coming out of the first function. It says there are 5 digits, 9 lowercase characters, and 9 uppercase characters. And this is coming from the second function. As you can see, they are exactly the same. Let's now implement a function that takes in a string and converts all uppercase characters to lowercase or all lowercase characters to uppercase. So for example, in the first function, we'll be taking a string like this and converting all uppercase characters to lowercase. So that would be the output after the function terminates. In the second function, we'll be taking the same string but converting all lowercase characters to uppercase, and this would be what the string looks like after the function returns. It is easy to convert a character from uppercase to lowercase. All you have to do is say character plus a lowercase a minus uppercase a. Remember, on the ASCII table, the ASCII value for uppercase a is 65, and ASCII value for lowercase a is 97. So what we are doing when we are converting from uppercase to lowercase is in fact adding 32 into the ASCII value of the character. And when we are converting from the lowercase to uppercase, we are doing the reverse operation. So you can say character is equal to character plus uppercase a minus lowercase a, which would amount to subtracting 32 from the ASCII value of the character. There are, as always, helper functions for these defined in CC type. So to convert a character to lowercase, you could just call toLower. And to convert any character, lowercase character, to an uppercase character, you could just call toUpper. And here is an example. This is example 10. As you can see, I am implementing two different versions of the same code. This is convert to lowercase 1, It takes a string with a reference so that any changes that I make to the string will be reflected to the calling environment. And I'm basically saying if the character is an uppercase character by testing is upper, then I'm just doing the computation myself. So I'm converting that character into a um, a upper lowercase character by saying minus lowercase a minus lowercase b. We could also use toLower function that does exactly the same thing. So by using the toLower, I'm avoiding this if statement and this computation. So basically, toLower is implementing exactly what's shown on the left-hand side. And the same applies to converting a character to from a lowercase to uppercase. We could test if it is lowercase character and then do the computation, or alternatively just use to upper uh, function from CC type to convert it into an uppercase character. So let's go to this example. This is example 10. Again, this is convert to lowercase one, an alternative implementation using the toLower function, and this is to convert to uppercase. Test if the character is lowercase and then do the computation, or just use to upper to convert the character into an uppercase character. So here is my function, the string, the original string. Let's go actually step by step. So let me do debug, go into the debug mode and go step by step. So I'm here. As you can see, the string is this is a um, this is a book. I'm making a copy of it. I'm passing TMP to convert to lowercase. I'm just gonna run it without going into it. As you can see, all the characters of TMP has not been changed to lowercase characters, so I can print. Again, make a copy of the original string, call the second implementation of toLower to convert all the characters to lowercase, and it's gonna do that. And now call convert to uppercase 1 to convert all the characters to uppercase and print them. And now call the second version of convert to uppercase, and that's gonna do the same thing. So it's gonna convert all the characters to uppercase characters. So bottom line is, it is quite easy to test and convert from between lowercase and uppercase characters by just using toLower and toUpper. Or you could implement it yourself, but it is always to make use of an already existing, and tested implementation from the C++ libraries. In many applications, it will be necessary to convert numbers to strings. How do you do that? The easiest way to do that is to use the toString method from the string library. So here are three numbers: integer I, float f, and double d. All you have to say is toString and pass the integer, toString pass the floating point number, or toString pass the double number. And this function is going to convert whatever you pass the number into a string and return a string representation of that thing. And here's an example. This is example 11. I'm first printing the actual value of the number, and I'm calling toString to convert the number into a string, and then printing that number out on the screen. And sometimes you would like to do the reverse operation, meaning you have a string that represents a number, and you would like to convert that string into a number. So how can we do that? If the string contains an integer, we could use s to I, which means string to integer. So you pass in the integer, it converts it and returns you the integer value of the string. You could call s to f. F represents the float. So if the number is a floating point number and if you want to convert it into a float rather than a double, you say s to f. And if you want to convert that floating point number into a double, then you say s to d. Here is an example. So I've got I string, f string, d string, and these are the numbers that each of these strings represent. In the first example, I'm calling s to I to convert the first string into an integer, which would be 456. In the second one, I would be calling s to f to convert this floating point number represented as a string into a floating point number, a float actually, 3.4, 159. And finally, I am calling s to d to convert this string into a double. Again, this is example 11. Let me go there and run the example. So I'm first converting them into strings. So let me go step by step so that you can see what's going on. So in the first one, I am converting an integer I into a string, I string. So at this point, I string is empty. But when I make this call, you're going to see you get a string representation of this integer. And when we make a call to f to string, converting this floating point number into a string, you're going to get a floating point representation. I'm sorry, a string representation of that floating point number. And when you convert this number, which is a double, into a string, you're going to get a string representation of that double number. All right, so this is what you're getting. Basically, that's what a toString method returns. And let's print them, and this is what you're getting. And in the reverse, you could also convert from string into a number using s to I. So s to I is going to convert this into an integer. So that means I would now be 456 after I call s to I. And I can call s to f to convert this string into a floating point number. So the floating point number would be 1159. And finally, convert this number into a double, and that's what you're seeing. So let's print them out. As you can see, we now converted a number that represented as a string into an actual a number, either an integer or a floating point number. These functions come in really handy in a lot of applications. That's why it is important to know them. So bottom line is use toString to convert a number to an integer, or use s to I, s to l, or s to f, or s to d